Figure out a higher way to hold the key.
What do you think about Googly Boogly?
Googly boogly?
Yeah. Super woo.
I think it's open to interpretation.
Hee-ho.
Here we are in Austin, Texas.
Could you tell us a little bit about your hippie mission on the planet Earth?
My hippie mission on planet Earth. Well, I would say in the most general sense, that would be returning to the old ways of living on the Earth, which now is coming out as new ways, back to more instinctual, intuitive way of being in the world. So I have this concept of heart over mind, because in the past stage of, the motto was mind over matter, and the logical conclusion of that is, technology, nuclear bombs. We've definitely developed technology, mind over matter. I feel like now, coming into this new age, or returning to the old ways, a big broader concept of that is like heart over mind, because we know now measurably the heart has the strongest electromagnetic field, like thousands of times more powerful than the brain does. So, and a lot of ancient traditions say that human consciousness is more seated in the heart than in the brain. And I feel like there's something important in that, aligning the human nature with human culture with nature, reweaving that tapestry.
So what are you doing right now to support that mission?
The ultimate goal is more into like a permaculture eco-village kind of sustainable agroforestry model, where there's the whole layers of the ecosystem, from the top of the canopy down to the shrubs and vines and herbaceous plants and roots and tubers, to having that whole system integrated into like a food forest, where the only input required is just the effort of harvesting, and the whole system supports itself. And it's come through in a lot of academic circles that cacao actually can be the #1 leverage for making that possible, because when someone goes in and plants a bunch of cacao trees in the tropics, all of a sudden the local people are making more money than they would if they sold that land off to mining and petroleum interests, and that whole system of environmental degradation. And then from within that, since the cacao has to be intercropped under canopy and within biodiverse jungle, this model becomes possible, where you're growing coconut, you're growing palm, you're growing cacao, you're growing all these crops that can be sold on the international market for profit, for a lot of money. And then within that, all the birds return, the local herbs return. And so really it's about going back to those ethnobotanical roots of humans knowing which plants to use for healing and for sustenance, and
Nice.
making nature, again, a sacred thing.
Nice.
I was a biology major in college, and I just, after learning all this stuff about we're in this major mass extinction, blah, 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 I was like, okay, this is total hypocrisy, stupid, I'm out of here. I'm just going to go be homeless and just learn how to grow food, man, travel around farms and stuff. And, I'd rather have nothing than not be doing something that's not what the Buddha would call, like, right livelihood. Because if what we're doing to earn a living is screwing up our own life support system, then we might as well just like leave the planet or something. There's no point. One of the reasons that chocolate has sustained my interest over time, long enough to start a business out of it, is because it is so much bigger than just me. Even though this is not local, it's still, since it's the #1 medicine on an ecophysiology, like in terms of healing the planet, it's so important to preserve the rainforests and ethnobotanical knowledge. But even on a personal health scale, the 3 major causes of death, heart attack, cancer, and stroke, 2 of those are tremendously preventative by cacao, the antioxidants in cacao. So on both a personal and planetary health level, it seems to be one of the most important things.
What's your sort of a new Earth vision?
The important thing right now is twofold. The first thing is having that long-term vision.
Yeah.
And for me, that's living in the jungle. I want to live in the jungle with a community, a tribe almost, of that model of sustainable agroforestry, a food forest tribe. these days things are so interconnected and so complex that even when you think you're supporting something good, it can be so intertangled with so much other stuff that you can actually be still doing a lot of damage. So it's just really important to be as conscious as possible and try to actually live on a practical, pragmatic, day-to-day basis in line with those concepts and ideals that you come up with. So use simple things like switching over from a bank to a local credit union, you know, instead of shopping at the grocery store, shopping at the farmer's market, doing your own garden.
Can you just do a brief commentary on the ceremonial uses of chocolate?
Important at this time for chocolate is getting people into party mode of dancing and moving their bodies, pumping their limbs, just feeling good, getting that exercise, and having crazy dance parties, like almost raves on chocolate or something. But you know, I in Cacao's council, I was using it for a more spiritual purpose of just as a community building event to get people together and really to serve as a platform to rekindle the lost art of storytelling so that we can weave a more relevant mythology, because on a certain level science is good, you know, the rational stuff is good, and we don't want to throw Western society out the window, but ultimately I feel like this is an emotional universe. It's a conscious universe, and there's so much of that is subconscious that I've gained a lot of value from studying mythology and you know, comparative religion and some of those, and art, you know, some of that kind of stuff. So I feel like that's one of the major issues now, is people are totally devoid of meaning. They don't know who they are, where they came from, and where they're going. Really what it's about is reweaving nature and culture into a tapestry that is done through storytelling, through word of mouth, you know, finding meaning through myth. And that's what using cacao as a spiritual sacrament was really about. You know, at the end of the world, all you really have to do is start living a new story.
We are here for each other.